Hello, this is Jacob Briggs, and I am here to talk about Project 4. So first off, I couldn't think of anything to use editor scripting for, um, personally, but I can explain it a little bit to show that I do understand it. I just couldn't find any way to apply it to something that I have. Editor scripting is you can add something up here, a custom command that designers could use to um, more easily build something in the game or check something. Um, so like one of the examples was they on a click of a button they could spawn in some rocks, a pile of rocks, instead of having to make a pile of rocks from each individual rock. They could just spawn in a random pile of rocks. Um, and then I'm sure you could do it, apply it to like trees to make the overbearing uh, task of placing down each and every environmental object become much easier. Um, and then attributes and property drawers, I looked into very much one of the examples in the documents or the modules of making important information to fill out become a certain color so they know that is important. So if Empty Waves, this game that I've been working on throughout the semester, actually gets worked on ever by me or anybody else, dialogue and the story is going to be a huge part of it. So I adapted it into the current dialogue stuff to make sure that people know they need to put in a name and however many sentences they put. They need to fill in each and every one of them because it's very important that this all over here in the name and the dialogue works. Um, because without that, part of the game is missing. Part of the point of the game is missing. And if we look in here, so first of all, I believe it's right. It's mark important info creates the property attribute of mark important info. Easy enough. Important info drawer takes mark important info and says when you use this mark important info, we're going to change the text to red. Keep everything else the same. Don't mess with anything, just change that color. And then here in dialogue, whenever somebody has the name or sentences, it's going to call mark important info, which in change will make it appear red here. Um, so this is just like, hey, if you see this red thing right here, please make sure that's filled out. So use of bit masking. Now, my example of bit masking is in Siphoners, which I worked on in Production Studio. It wasn't entirely through code. It was actually, well, I think one of the examples on there was you can use it with um, uh, Unity layers, which is what I did. So while all the other enemies can't run through a wall, this capsule guy, if I just go to the scene, it'll be easier to look at it. This capsule guy that was supposed to be able to go through walls is set in his NavMesh agent that he can walk into this area between the walls. Anybody else would not be able to walk through the walls. And it even tracks right here and in wall because he does something special if he's in the wall. It even tracks, hey, he's passing through this wall area. Um, and if I look at the nav mesh, if I can find it. It's been a while since I've looked at this. I want to be there. Where? No, there it is. There it is. There it is. So, Um, I think I made a different one, but maybe it's just not showing up anymore and it still works. But the blue is walkable by anybody, and then this purple right here usually is not walkable except for by the capsule guy. So in the capsule guy's um, Navmesh agent, I don't know if it's built into here. I've forgotten. Yes, he can. It's set right here that he can move through not walkable. But if you went to a zombie and you went down to their Navmesh, they are. That's weird because they shouldn't be able to walk through here. They have to go around it. I forgot where exactly it was set, but these guys were not allowed to walk through the cube unless something got messed with, um, that I had no idea about until like now. um, and the capsule can, because they would go around it. There's some weird clipping things here in this little example, but for the most part, he's able to just go right through. These guys have to go around it. Um, so I think that was an example of bit masking that I talked about. You can use the Unity layers to do stuff there. I hope that works. um, and then scriptable objects. I've made scriptable objects for both Kill the Rogue, Siphoners, and now also in here. So I will show it in here. I don't think I have. No, I don't think I have. Oh, I do. So these are actually already made. They're pretty simple for right now until I actually add in more things. I tried to make these forever ago for a different thing, but I couldn't figure out how to put them into a list, so they've kind of just existed here for a while. So it's all the objects that right now like exist in the game that if I really wanted to could place them down to find. So they all have a name. Here, I could make a new one too. Create scriptable objects items. So we'll name this one journal. And then we could say the item name is journal. The item type can either be a puzzle unlock, which unlocks a new puzzle area, a puzzle piece, which is a piece of a puzzle you use to solve it, like it's an item that you need to get past it, and then collectible is just like a collectible item that'll have like lore attached to it. And then if it's the item level is for puzzle unlocks because it determines what puzzle it unlocks. You can set an item level so that it can be dropped at the end of a puzzle of the same or lower um, type. Um, and then I believe it says to talk about include information on how to create them. So to create them, I don't even know if I don't think I have the scripts. Items. Item scriptable objects. So to make a scriptable object, you need a little thing that says create asset menu, and you just put in the name of it. It needs a name, and then it'll go the menu name. It's scriptable objects slash items, which will be, hey, I want to make scriptable objects, and this one exactly will be called items. Um, and in here, you can put in um, all of the variables that you'll need. So I have an enum, which is an item type, so that you can choose the item type, the name of the item, and then the level for puzzle unlock items. And then you just come into Unity after you make that, and you can just right click, create scriptable objects, and then boom, you can make it. How to load them from resources at runtime. So I've never actually had any of my scriptable objects actually be used other than created. Um, but I believe all you need to do is wherever you need one, you just grab whatever one you need, You can pull it by name. You could load it into a list, which is what I was trying to do like last project, I believe, for the link stuff. I was trying to make it all in scriptable objects and load it in, but I couldn't figure out exactly how to do that. Um, but you just load it into a list, and then you have a list of your items, and you can grab from it. You can call, I need this here. Um, and then why you generally do not edit them at runtime, you don't want to edit them at runtime because if the game is running and you're committed to having this item be exactly as it is, um, if you change it, that could mess up everything. It'll change how it is in the list, and it will just get messy if you try to mess with it. But I believe that's it for Project 4. I think, sorry for being a little bit bare bones with this one. I just couldn't think of any um, uses in my projects for some of these at this time at least. Um, Hopefully later along the line I can think of something, but for now that's it. Thank you.